Dust swirls on a desolate road as a figure emerges from the distant haze, promising an unusual encounter. The figure takes shape, revealing Wilbur, a pig adorned in full cowboy regalia. Wilbur's cowboy hat casts a shadow over his eyes as he squints at the horizon, a tiny sheriff's badge gleaming. His gaze intensifies, searching for something beyond the heat-soaked road. The sun beats down, but Wilbur remains resolute, a cowboy pig on a mission. Wilbur rides into a desolate, sun-baked town, kicking up dust with every step. The townsfolk stand frozen, their eyes wide with disbelief at the sight of Wilbur. A tumbleweed drifts silently past, emphasizing the stark stillness. Wilbur sits tall in the saddle, unfazed by the stunned reactions. The townsfolk watch, suspended between fear and fascination, as Wilbur continues his ride. Under the blazing sun, Wilbur strides toward the weathered general store, his approach unsettling the watchful shopkeeper. Wilbur greets the shopkeeper with disarming charm. "Mornin', I'm just looking to pick up a few essentials. Hope I'm not pigging out on your time." Suspicion clouds the shopkeeper's face as he curtly retorts, "I ain't sure I serve your kind round here." Wilbur counters with exaggerated innocence. "Oh now, don't be such a bore. I'm just a simple traveler, looking for a bit of grub and maybe some rope. I assure you my intentions are pure as a newborn piglet." The shopkeeper, though grudging, concedes with a grumble. "Well, I suppose everyone deserves a fair shake. Just try not to hog all the good stuff." Wilbur smiles, his eyes sparkling with mischief as he turns to browse the store's offerings. The saloon buzzes with life. Cowboys gamble, glasses clink, and laughter fills the air. Suddenly, an ominous silence descends as Wilbur steps through the doorway. Every eye in the room turns to Wilbur, their expressions a mix of surprise and apprehension. Wilbur strides confidently through the saloon, his gaze fixed on the bar. Wilbur approaches the bar, the silence amplifying his every step. Wilbur strides into the saloon, a palpable tension radiating from him as he navigates through the thick atmosphere of stale beer and sawdust. He approaches the bar, his presence commanding attention as he signals for a drink with a silent, assertive gesture. As the bartender pours, fragments of a hushed conversation drift into Wilbur's ears, the name One-Eyed Bart hanging ominously in the air. Details of past crimes and betrayals paint a grim picture, each word striking Wilbur like a physical blow. A cold fury begins to simmer within Wilbur, his eyes hardening with a resolve born of dark intent. His jaw clenches, a stark indication of the inner turmoil and the steely determination that now grips him. The saloon explodes into a frenzy of flying fists and shattered glass, a chaotic dance of destruction. Amidst the brawl, Wilbur reveals unexpected agility, dodging blows with uncanny grace. Wilbur uses his surprising strength, sending opponents sprawling with brute force. A burly patron charges toward Wilbur, intent on overpowering him with sheer size. Wilbur pivots, using his pig-like physique to his advantage, sending his attacker crashing into a table. The bar fight rages on, with Wilbur at the center, a whirlwind of unexpected might. Wilbur strides with unwavering resolve along the sunlit street, his shadow a stark declaration of purpose. Wilbur halts abruptly, confronting a menacing figure, a clear harbinger of Bart's dark influence. Wilbur's voice cuts through the air, demanding, "I am looking for Bart. Where is he?" The gang member retorts with mocking laughter, "You in what army, pal?" The tension hangs heavy as Wilbur's gaze pierces the gang member, the challenge undeniable. Under the relentless desert sun, Wilbur battles the elements, his determination etched against the harsh landscape. The desert wind lashes at him, a constant reminder of the unforgiving terrain. Trusting his instincts, Wilbur lowers his head and sniffs the ground, his pig-like senses on high alert. He searches for any sign of Bart's gang, his focus unwavering amidst the desolation. With each gust of wind and every grain of sand, Wilbur presses on, driven by an unyielding resolve to track his quarry. Wilbur arrives at Bart's hideout, a dilapidated shack isolated in the wilderness. He pauses, his gaze sweeping across the desolate landscape. Wilbur begins to formulate a plan of attack. The wind whispers through the cracks of the shack, a silent accomplice to Wilbur's intentions. Wilbur's resolve hardens, the final touches of his plan falling into place. Under the cloak of night, Wilbur sneaks into Bart's hideout, a shadow seeking silence. The air thickens with anticipation as Wilbur strains every muscle taut to capture the whispers of deceit. Unseen, unheard, he edges closer, drawn by the venomous murmur of Bart's schemes. Bart's voice, a low rumble of impending doom, fills the hideout as he plots his next crime. Wilbur's eyes narrow, a spark of defiance igniting within him as he overhears the dark plans unfolding. In Bart's dimly lit hideout, Wilbur stands defiantly, his small frame radiating intensity. Bart leans back on his makeshift throne, a smirk playing on his lips as he sizes up Wilbur. Wilbur declares with unwavering resolve, "It's time you knew the truth, Bart. I am Wilbur, and I'm here for revenge." Bart recoils in laughter, questioning, "Revenge? A pig? You've got to be kidding me. This is hilarious." The tension hangs heavy in the air as Wilbur's gaze remains unbroken, challenging Bart's amusement. Sunlight slices through the dim saloon, illuminating the tense standoff between Wilbur and Bart. Wilbur and Bart face each other, sweat glistening on their brows as the air thickens with dread. The townsfolk watch, their silent anticipation amplifying the tension. A dog whimpers softly, a subtle sound that underscores the gravity of the moment. The saloon holds its breath, the impending duel hanging heavy in the air. Sunlight streams into the saloon, illuminating the chaos as Wilbur dives for cover. Bart's roar echoes through the saloon as bullets fly wide, his frustration mounting. Wilbur vaults over a table, scattering cards and whiskey bottles in his wake. A desperate move as Wilbur grabs a handful of sawdust from the floor. Wilbur throws the sawdust into Bart's face. In a swift, decisive move, Wilbur seizes control, disarming Bart. A tense silence fills the saloon as Wilbur stares down at Bart, his face a study in grim resolve. Wilbur's eyes betray a flicker of mercy, a moral battle raging within. Wilbur declares, "Justice is better served through the law." Inside the stark confines of the town jail, Bart sits, his spirit as dimmed as the cell itself. Outside, a sea of townsfolk gathers, their cheers and applause, a stark contrast to Bart's desolation. Wilbur stands among them, basking in the warm glow of adoration, his face alight with pure joy. With a flourish, Wilbur tips his hat to the crowd, his gesture a symbol of gratitude and triumph. The crowd erupts once more, their cheers echoing through the town square, a testament to Wilbur's newfound heroism. Against the blazing sunset, Wilbur rides off into the distance, a tiny figure on the vast, dusty road. His silhouette shrinks against the fiery horizon, a symbol of his fading presence. A genuine, heartfelt smile graces Wilbur's lips, etched with the satisfaction of a hero's journey. Triumphantly, Wilbur declares, "I have avenged my family and proven that even a pig can be a hero." The sunset engulfs him as Wilbur continues his ride, leaving behind the echoes of his heroic deed.